Hey, everybody, happy Wednesday and welcome to another edition of Dating Diaries. This is Crystal XO, and I am excited to have you guys here. You all know what we do every Wednesday. We talk to you about dating dilemmas and dating disasters and try to figure out what are some, well, we laugh a little bit, right? And then we try to figure out solutions and all that good stuff. And I can't do any of that without my co host, Scorpio Moe. So let me get him in the building. What's good?
What's happening? What's happening, Crystal? What's happening?
It's hump day. It's hump day.
Is it? Man, today, today has felt like a long Thursday. The last 2 days has felt like a long Thursday.
It does not feel like it's the middle of the week. It feels like we should definitely be getting to the end of the week, but maybe that's because we have a holiday coming up. And so
That's exactly what it is.
maybe that's what it is. Everybody's just trying to push through. It is hot today. Today was like one of them days that lets us know the summer is upon us. And but yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
What's up, everybody?
Y'all come on in. Come on in. Let us see where you are. Go ahead and share the chat. As nobody's saying anything yet, you guys let us know where you are from. Let us know where you're watching from.
Please,
what you are, where you're at. Come on. We don't have any comments yet. That's not like the XO family. I'm used to seeing comments immediately.
Yeah, where y'all at? Hello, what up?
Up on the screen. Where are we at? There we go. What's up, DeQueasy? It is 95 degrees. It is hot as heck. It is hot outside. It is hot. It is extremely hot. Then it's just beginning. The summer. Is it even summer yet? I don't even think it's officially summer.
The unofficial was Memorial Weekend, but I think it's a little after that.
Okay. Yeah, we're still in spring. Now you guys know Wednesdays are dating diary. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link right here. That is the link to join us. So while we just kind of chop it up a little bit, you guys, if you want to come in and talk about a dating disaster
or
a dating dilemma, and let's talk a little bit about dating dilemmas. Mo and I are here for you. Consider this like XO family therapy, right? An XO family therapy session. And if you have a question that you want some help with trying to figure out, we're here for you.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna be honest. Do my best, y'all. Just let you know. Do my best.
Bonjour, light brown eyes. Bonjour.
Hey, can I say something?
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of the women on here in their photos. We have a nice looking following. I just wanted to say that to you. I don't know if I ever told y'all that. I'll be seeing, I watch it late. Well, I don't really get to hear it, but I see it later. And I see we have a nice, good looking XO family. I just wanted to let y'all know that we do see y'all, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So are you basically zeroing in on profile pictures?
No. I knew he was going to start some shit like that. No, that's not. I just happened to see him.
Yeah.
Because my job is computer's bigger, and I see the profile. Like, these are nice looking. We have a nice, good looking bunch.
I think so. I also think that we have an intellectual bunch, right? Because
we do.
I think our family, right? This channel, we have a lot of people that they're thinkers, right? They're not. Mm-hmm. If they're here, we're thinkers, and they're here with us, and we're all in alignment.
Most of them are thinkers. The core are thinkers.
The core.
There's some stragglers. I don't know where they be showing up. Be saying some wild stuff that I don't know how they came up to that, but
I feel like that's usually like the people that watch it afterwards. The people that catch the lives.
Yeah, they're a little bit more.
That's the core.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yes.
So you browsing IG at work? No. I don't browse IG at work. I just happen to see the Anyway, it's not important. But I've seen, and it's a nice looking crowd. I appreciate you.
Yeah. What's up, C-Dub?
What up, C-Dub?
Man, can I tell you something? So we got, it's funny. This funniest thing happened right before I came in. That's why I'm still thinking about it, because this just happened. So yesterday, we got a new puppy, right? Now, we have we have four dogs. We lost one, and thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you. We lost one of our dogs, and so we got a puppy, a new puppy. So we have a Rottweiler that's 5 named Shadow, and then yesterday we got a new Rottweiler puppy who is a girl, and she's 5 months. Her name is Sade, right? So we got Shadow and Sade. So, and then you guys know Sugar Pie because she comes on. She's knocked out right now listening to me talk. But so, so Sade is 5 months. Shadow is 5 years old. He's about 140 pounds. He's a big Rottweiler. She's gonna be big, but she's 5 months. She's a puppy. She don't even have all of her teeth. So I went to feed them, and I do give the Rottweilers. I would give them like leftover chicken or food, like because they're the bigger dogs, right? They're outside. So I went and do you remember that Chris Rock comedy special where he talks about the big piece of chicken?
Yes, I do.
So there was a big piece of chicken, which was the breast. It was a really big one, and then there was a thigh, right? So I went out there and I said, "Hey guys," and I put the big piece of chicken in Shadow's bowl, and I put the thigh in Sade's bowl. Sade, who got here yesterday, who is 5 months old and barely has teeth all the way through, growled and grabbed the big piece of chicken.
Mm.
And when Shadow tried to take it because he knew it was his because it was in his bowl, she growled at him like, "I wish you would."
Right.
And then he backed off and he went over and got the smaller piece of chicken and went around side the back and ate it in peace. And I just wondered if that was an example. Is Sade an alpha female?
Born an alpha female.
No one taught Sade that.
Right.
That's just who she is. She wanted the big piece of chicken, and she not only did she want it, she when I tell you he came in for it, like that's mine, and she was like, "Ugh." And I was watching, I was like, whoa, that is what DeQueen said, typical of these new females. She is a new female, but I couldn't believe that little puppy just has that type of attitude. And Shadow is huge compared to her.
Right.
What is happening?
I guess no fearless at this point, right? Hasn't been around a lot of fearless.
She's been around her mom and dad. She's not. This is not. So I'm just wondering if I don't know. I always relate animals to people, but I'm like that energy. Yeah, we will definitely nip it in the bud. That's what Adrian was like. We got to nip that in the bud. Food aggression with dogs is not fun. And actually, but the crazy thing about that, where's the juice? Shadow has food aggression because he does not. He'll. That's why we separate the inside dogs and the outside dogs.
Right.
Because the inside dogs are Sugar Pie. She has no aggression at all.
Is that your dog in the background here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Kane. But yeah, the queen said maybe her mama punked her daddy. Something happened because Sade didn't care, and I think that she is definitely an alpha female, like some of the women that I know. I mean, she just is she's been staking her claim. She came in, she wasn't shy. She went right on in the house. She went like,
well, they say female dogs are more vicious than males.
They really are. But she's 5 months. That's why I thought, they are. And I also, the interesting thing is she also immediately attached to Adrian. Like as soon as she got here, she went right to him, like, "You're my person." And I'm sorry, y'all, that is one of my dogs. Y'all know I'm an animal person. We got 4, 2 in the house, 2 outside. And usually I don't let the 2 in the house in here, but I probably, because I was so shocked at Sade's behavior, I just was like, let me get on here. So anyway, that's where I'm coming from today. The dogs is crazy. I should sit her down and read your book. I'm serious. Like Sade is an example of an alpha female. You know what? I did this event a week ago, and we were really like we were like honoring women that were very accomplished. And it did again remind me of how women are so take charge. And that's not a bad thing, but I think that sometimes those of us that are take charge, we have to be cognizant of that and kind of relax. So a good friend of mine was there, and he said, "Christal, he said what I appreciated about what I saw is that you hosted it. You controlled the room, but with softness as opposed to um, strength, right? And that softness actually did a better job than if you had came out there like, you know what I mean? So I was like, thank you for that. I'm working on that, and I'm encouraging all the EXO family to work on that with me. You know, as we try to really be in our realize the power of our femininity. I think sometimes we feel like we have to play a man's game with a man, and really you cannot win. A woman cannot win at a man's game playing like a man. You have to play like a woman, and that's in your femininity. So
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank you, Mimi. She says, Crystal, you look beautiful. Mo, you look very handsome. Okay. Well, thank you. Well, you know, and so does the EXO family. Most of that, which everybody's just up in here, you know, we're just living our best lives. Let's get into dating diary. I got a couple of questions for you guys. Again, I'm going to drop this link one more time, y'all. We're just going to keep dropping the link throughout the night. But I wanted to ask the chat a question because I was watching Bridgerton last night. You guys know that's one of my favorite series on Netflix. I'm a Shonda Rhimes fanatic, and so Bridgerton is like half fantasy, probably the other half fantasy too. It's a lot of fantasy driven romance and you know old time history. I love it. But anyway, there's a scene, and I posted it today on my Instagram page. There's a scene where the mother is talking to the daughter, and she's saying to the daughter, I hope she wants the daughter to date this guy because he's a good provider. He would be a good provider. And the daughter is just kind of hesitant, and she said, I hope that you're not foolish enough to believe in love. She said, that is for storybooks, which is why I tell you not to read. Because, you know, back in the day, women were not encouraged to read. Women were actually not allowed to read for a long time. And she said, do you want to know what's romantic? Security is romantic. And if you cannot understand that, you know, basically you're going to have a hard life. And so I just want to ask the chat, and I want to ask you first, as a man, what do you think about that? Because you and I were talking about it earlier, and this is not something new, right? This is an age old thing from back in the day in Bridgerton times, where the father, the man would present himself to the parents to try to convince them that he had the ability to take care of their daughter before he would be given her hand in marriage. Years before that, the man would, his family would put together, he would take gifts and money and all types of things to get the daughter, because the idea that a wife is a valuable asset, and well, not asset, but you know, a valuable, well, they didn't look at it as partnership either, but having a wife was a good thing. It could make a man more successful and make him more valuable. So it was important for him to show value in order to be worthy of the woman. So when we look at, then we hear songs when we were coming up of, you got to have a job if you want to be with me. All these, you know, nothing going on but the rent. There's always been this idea that men had to provide in order to be considered worthy of being a husband, right? So I just want to, when I hear that line that was like, you want to know what's romantic, security is romantic. I'm not gonna lie, you guys know I'm a hopeful romantic, but I'm inclined to believe that it does begin there.
I
you're
just
you're really puffing on that cigar.
I don't think it begins there. Actually, I think that's where it ends.
Explain.
I think the beginning is natural attraction,
Mm-hmm.
commonality. That's a word, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Commonality.
Good for you, it was right.
But I think that's the start. And then you peel back the layers and you see if they are a provider. That's the list.
Mm-hmm.
At least from a male's perspective, like when we're not when we're looking, but if I was to assume that's what a female will be looking at,
Mm-hmm.
like looking at that part of it, because you start off with the provider, and that makes you feel safe and security, whatever. But then you could be like an asshole, right?
Yeah.
As we just witnessed not too long ago, this guy, and we're talking about Sean Diddy Combs. You know what I'm saying? I can provide you with everything you need. It don't mean that, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be right. You're going to be comfortable. You're going to be even safe, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you have to start with the things that are genuine first. That's just natural and you're paying attention to. And then that's maybe third or fourth layer. But I think if you start with that other thing, you could get comfortable and you would put up with a lot of stuff that you shouldn't. Because
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you put it in reverse. I mean, you got it backwards. You look for that one, then you felt safe and good, and then but what else comes with it? But I think if you start with the other thing and you peel back the layers, then it's like, okay. To me, I would think that's how a woman, but obviously, I guess some don't.
Well, I guess for me, the reason I feel like it starts there is because I feel like when you're dating with intention, right? Which is what and I really believe that all of us should be dating with intention. Like when we're dating, right? I guess when you're young, you want to get to know people, but I don't necessarily think dating is not a destination. It's a means. It's a means to an end. At least in my perspective, you don't just date just for enjoyment, right?
Right.
It's to meet someone that you connect with. Now, you may or may not be ready to connect. If you're at a certain point in life where you're comfortable in your own skin and you're in a good place as far as your career, then you may be a little bit more ready to settle down than not. But all the way around, to me, dating is always about trying to find a right fit, right? So I believe that it starts with that because I believe that as a woman that is someone that wants to be respected and wants to be taken seriously,
Mhm.
I don't believe that you should even entertain going out with someone that isn't able to, that is not secure, that does not have themselves together at a certain point. Like I believe that that is the beginning of where we start, right? And then but also two things can be true. I want him to have great character. I want him to have this, but I feel like depending on what age you're dating, because if you're 21, obviously this does not apply. But the most of our viewership is not that age demographic. But regardless, even if you are young, you may not need him to have the proof of the security, but you need a man that's ambitious. You need a man that
So
wants to get there. So I think you do have to look for someone that understands that security is something that a man needs to bring to the table.
right, right. But that's why I think during the beginning process, um, you're taking your time to peel back the layers before you jump out there.
Right.
The
Right.
conversations over the phone should be about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens nowadays is like people are getting fooled by what the perception of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of guys think that the best presentation wins. So whatever I need to present myself in the best light, I'm going to win. If she's going out with several guys, like it might be a rotation, not that even sleeping, just going out with, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 guys. Can you really break down 4 guys before you step out there? We're talking about hello from introduction to possibly talking on the phone to that actual first date. Then there's another 3 other guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how do you decipher who is who? I mean, some guys, will eliminate themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people in general in that process. But are you asking the right questions? And who's to say you even gonna get a right answer? If you got someone that's seasoned, They know how to answer the questions.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they're right, but they know how to the presentation of things. I think we had a conversation about titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And guys know if they come with the presentation and the title of what they do, that's the thing. Like I told you, I had a situation, I'll say a while ago, where somebody asked me, they say, "Hey, how you doing?" So on and so forth. What do you do?
Yeah.
They never asked. They didn't even ask my name.
Yeah.
They just asked what I did.
And that kind of goes. So Gunboss said, "Why do most women always make money the first thing?" That means security, and that's kind of like what you were said. That He agrees with what you were saying.
Right.
In that conversation, you were like, before the woman even wanted to know my name or where
I was from or anything, she was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm fine. She's like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Whoa, whoa." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, but I think I don't know, and I could be wrong. Like these conversations are always about learning and trying to figure things out, right? But I don't think I probably did that because I'm always trying to be very considerate to the other side. But I do think that people ask you, and Anisha 618 says, "What do you do? Me, my best." And Mo says that also, which I think is a smart ass way of answering that. He says it a lot, but I don't think that sometimes some women may ask, "What do you do?" And it's really not. I don't think it's always about trying to measure how much money you make,
Mm-hmm.
or to find value in that. I
Okay.
think sometimes it's just about, because I think what a person does tells you a lot about who they are, not their value. But for me, like for you knowing what you do, if I met you and you told me that, especially just the initial, not going into detail, but this is what I do, then I'm going to know that you're a very structured person, right?
Mm-hmm.
That there's a time that you're there and you have to be at work at a certain time. So that means you're probably very structured. That means that you probably aren't, as you're not like up late at night because you have a structured day,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I think for me, a lot of times when you're dating, that does tell you about the person. As an entrepreneur, I learned quickly that a lot of times men that were in corporate or men that were in the military, God, which is why I swore off dating men in the military until Gunboss.
Ah,
And
good.
then he just slipped in because he wasn't like that. But a lot of them are very, very structured and they don't like being out. Like I go to bed at 6. I get up at 5. I go to bed at 8. I do that. I do. So that tells you a lot about the person. It also can tell you about their personality. Usually people that are entrepreneurs are a little bit more liberal, where people that are, corporate are a little bit more, um, conservative. Now there always are going to be outliers. So there's not like a definite
Right.
thing for everybody. But I do think when you're dating, it does tell you a little bit about that person's lifestyle. And that's what you want to know. You want to know about, their life and what makes them tick and that type of thing.
I don't have a problem with it being asked, but not the first or even the second question.
Yeah.
It feels a little. I The equivalent to a man is like if I was to be like, "What? Hey, how you doing?" Even say my name, be like, "What's your bra size?" For the fit, you see what I'm saying? Like men feel how women feel about sex is how men feel about money.
Well, first of all, you can tell the bra size by looking usually.
We can.
I'm asking because I've heard men tell me I can see through that sweatshirt and see that those are some, in fact, C Dub.
Why did I know you was gonna go there with see? I
Because
know he.
I remember those conversations. He can always tell that I've had he even at the way that the sweatshirt moves to
He
tell the
he
weight.
he, he is a breast man. C Dub is a breast man, so that's what his thing is.
He said hello.
But still to a woman, I would think that would be intrusive, or that would be kind of like, yo, what?
It would. I mean, but that's not something that you should ask, period. And Tyra's World said my bra size ain't gonna have us on the street. Facts. They also don't really tell you about my lifestyle or personality.
No, but it's
No.
it's it's it's, it's like it's like, hey, easy. You know,
Good correlation.
that's what I feel like with the, well, what do you do? It's like, you don't want my character, what I do. I mean, you could do that and be a totally different person outside of work. You know what I mean? So it's cool. Like I said, maybe fifth, sixth question. Well, what do you, but to be the first question is, or the second question is a little like, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Especially if they asked you, like, so where you from? And they went from where you from to what do you do? They didn't even ask, well, where you from?
Yeah, but I think some people are just not good conversationalists, though. That's the back and forth is the conversationalist. So where are you from? Well, where are you from? So are you, do you have siblings? Do you have some people aren't necessarily, that's, they may not be have the script for the tete-a-tete, right? I
You
don't
don't
think
need a script. You just ask me what I asked you. You don't need a script for
it's
that.
boring. It's boring.
We get to the other stuff. You don't start off at the top. We
I
climb
see
to the
Tyler's
mountain.
World has another good point. She's making good points tonight.
What you
I
say?
agree. She says, I won't date a police officer at all, so I'm not gonna wait to ask. See, I do think I had that experience. I dated a couple police officers and I don't like that job field either.
Oh, they don't.
But I also, like I said, I didn't want to date military guys. And I'll tell you guys why. Because I had bad experiences, and so I was making judgments and assumptions. And I went on a date with one guy out in the military, and he was casing the joint and talking about the four corners and wanting to be safe. And I was just like, "Whoa, I think we might have been at Fridays." And I was just like, why are you casing? Why are you casing the joint? What are you?" And he was telling me all the ways that he could protect us if something happened. I was just like, we just had an appetizer. This is over appetizers. First date. Weird, weird. And then another guy that was a military person had guns. When I tell you there were so many guns in the house, it was like it was almost like he was trying to set
Don't
up.
want to protect her or not.
They were behind the bathroom door, behind the front door, behind. I mean, it was, and he had a huge tattoo of an executioner on this. It was just too much. I was just like, I can't. Like, I don't know what these people have gone through, but this is not for me. But as we all see, I ended up with one but he doesn't have guns. He does like guns, but they're
I'm
not
ready to say, what?
he does like guns, but they're not everywhere. But I mean, if people are individuals, but you also can't be upset with someone for asking questions that kind of give them help
No,
to know you.
I get it. I'm just saying that shouldn't be the first or second question. It's a fair question in the conversation, but not at the top of it.
Right.
I'm just like, but like I wouldn't. I've had FBI FBI agent, police officer. I went on dates with
I remember that. That was funny. The police officer was hilarious.
but I can't do it. I can't, because I went out on a date. No, I went to a woman's house and her ex was a police officer.
Oh.
And she scared me. She was like, well, sometimes he comes by, he circles around, and I was like, yo, I gotta go. Yo, them dudes, don't try. Hey, man, the police officers, hey.
We all have heard that they can be, which is ironic, but
background checks and doing all this stuff. And man, listen, I'm cool on that.
Yeah, I've heard that. But okay, what have you learned about a woman based on what she does? Like, do you make assumptions based on what a woman's career is?
Unless she's a stripper, probably not. Depends. I don't know. Like
You haven't seen any commonalities?
If I meet a woman and let's say she's a cashier at CVS, right? Now, in my mind, I was like, well, or let's say she's a cashier at Taco Bell.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
No, I want to do this. Listen.
No, because I don't want to do this because I don't feel like this is authentic. As long as I know.
Listen. What I'm saying. In my mind, okay, maybe she made some bad decisions early in her life. That's what got her here. And
when have you ever dated a cashier?
It's possible.
I asked a question. My question was, when have you ever dated a cashier?
That's not the point. That's not the point.
Oh, it is the point.
Would I is the point.
Have you is the point.
Haven't ran across one that I
Out of all the CVS's and Kroger's and Publix and every place that you've been, you have never seen an attractive cashier.
I've seen several. I was just in and out. I didn't have time.
Well, you know
I
what?
don't like to fraternize on people's jobs and doing that type of stuff.
You are full of it. You are.
I don't push up on people at their job. They work.
No.
I'm just saying they working.
You. Oh.
Would I? Hey, some of them women in them uniforms look good. Don't let it fool you.
Yet you have not hollered at any of them.
I had to go. And then
see, y'all see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to hold him to it being accountable, and he's not. He's not accountable.
You just never know. What would be a more
No, use something. Pull from your Rolodex of experiences, my friend.
I've dated women that was doing other stuff. You know, all kind of real estate agents, a bunch of stuff, man. But what was the question? What was the question?
What have you assumed? Because I'm happy to take this. I'm happy to take it over for you.
About me?
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Want to hear it? Here you go.
Yeah, please.
So you and I have talked about the fact that you've dated some very professional women.
Okay.
VPs, directors.
Yes.
And you have made some assumptions that a lot of them are teachers.
Yes.
A lot of them do not slip out of their work persona and talk to you like they're at work.
There you go.
Okay, I was trying to lead you to the water. So I'm saying, like, you know, when a woman tells you meet a woman tomorrow, right? Oh. Say you're on Hinge and you meet a woman tomorrow and she says that she is the vice president of business relations for a Fortune 500 company. What are you going to assume based on that title?
I'm going to assume that I need to leave her alone at this point. I've been there, done that.
But see, that's my point.
But you know what it is? You know what it is? I'm going to assume that she's not going to have very much time.
Okay.
I'm going to assume now. I don't know this for sure.
Right.
How comfortable she makes me feel, but I found out that's a trick, or it feels like one anyway. They lure you in with that and other things, and they bring you in, and then it turns into something else. In my experience, and that's not all. If anyone's out there, VP or this, that, and the third, I don't want to put it on everybody, but it's just been my experience that it's just tough, and they wanted to. Here's the thing, like they have a program already, right? And women want leaders, if from what I see and from what I hear, right? But the problem is those women, at some point, they want you to be a leader of their program. That's not how it works if you're a leader. I'm not going to be the leader of your program. I could be the leader of our program. I can be the leader of my program. But as a man, I'm never going to be up under your program or lead your program. That's not, for me, that's not going to happen. We can come together and we can figure out what works for us. But I'm not going to be up under the wing. I'm not doing none of that. And I don't think you'll respect it after a while anyway. So
no, I agree. But I was trying to show you that a lot of times the job, what do you do, does tell a person about your personality.
Yeah, and I'm with it. But I guess for y'all just want to cut to the chase, right?
And it's not cut to the chase. I just want to know who I'm talking to.
But my job is not me. So if I lose the job or get fired or whatever the case may be, you still basing that on the job, or is it me?
But I just showed you an example of how it's not always about the job, it's about the personality that comes along with that job.
It could
So
be.
those women that you're talking about, it's not about, you don't care about their money, you care about their attitude and and how they act with the job.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
telling you, a lot of times for women, it's the same thing. I will say that, and I'm not saying that this is right. I'm saying this is how people look at things. If you
Okay.
meet a man that is a sanitation worker, right?
Right.
It's not always about the fact that he doesn't make a lot of money, because depending on how long he's been there and how smart he is with his money, he may be very well off financially. The thing is, a lot of times there's a limited that he doesn't he may not be into doing certain things. It's more of a limited mindset because of that particular job. It's more of a conservative. I just, I'm a simpler type lifestyle. And I think a lot of times you can tell a lot about people by where they are in life and what they do. Musicians are another group of people.
Right.
I would not date an artist or a musician, because they are passionate people that go out on whims. I like stability and security, and for me, that doesn't work. I love a lot of them because they're so much fun, and they're interesting people. But for me, they are extremely, um, devil may care, Papa. I don't want the Rolling Stone. I don't
But
want.
you realize, like, that's the reason why men lie about their title. Like, for instance, you're going on the title. I could say, we could go out and meet a woman, and she said, "What do you do?" I say, "I work in sanitation." Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could be the guy on the back of the truck, or I could own the sanitation company. I just told you I work in sanitation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might blow me off, whatever, and then come outside and there's this $300,000 car. You know what I mean? And then you pull up and was like, "Hey, trying to get me to roll my window." And I've seen this stuff happen. It was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I was in a mood back there. I just wanted to." I've seen this happen.
Right.
Never happened to me, but I've seen this happen. But with people I know. So, like I said, so another guy sees that, and it was like I said, the one with the best presentation wins. Now it could all be a facade, but now I know, in order to get the women, after the title, the presentation, everything, and it might not be true. So, what do you say to that?
I mean, I think that's true with anything, though. You know what I mean? I think it's anything in life. There are men, because when I was dating, a lot of times if you tell men that you have a degree and you have an advanced degree, they assume certain things. Like, people, we all make assumptions based on the 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 way that we see things, right? So we put it through our own personal lens
Right.
based on what we have.
Right.
And I just want you to say that I just want you to see that it may not necessarily be a negative thing. Now, I think if you listen to what she's saying and the rest of the conversation is materialistic, then that's a problem. But just the idea of what do you do does not always necessarily mean the person is trying to, you
Right.
know, assess your value.
No,
It could just be they're trying to get to know you. So that was
we
my
had that conversation with the tips. Remember, I said to the guys, I was like, if a woman asks you, now, let's say that's fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth question, and then, well, how long you been doing that for? And I remember I said on the tips that we had to the men, I was like, don't feel away, because she just wants to see if you're stable. You're not every 6 months you got a new job.
right.
It doesn't mean, and to the women, if a guy asked you, what did I say? If a guy asks you, oh, do you cook? He's not asking like for you to cook. Are you going to cook for him? That represents nurturing to a man. You nurturer. Have you ate today? Do you cook, or what's cook? To that symbolizes nurturing to a man.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we get it mixed up, and we thinking people are asking the question. I don't mind the question. It's just where you put the question at the top. Because if I say it, then you be like, "Nope, I'm good," and take the drink I bought you and walk off.
What's up to Reality Queen Keith? Tuning in all the way from Mombasa, Kenya. That is awesome.
Hey.
That is very dope. You guys keep putting those locations in. Also, let me go ahead and drop this in the chat one more time. If you guys have a dating dilemma,
Where y'all at? Yes.
you have a dating disaster that you want to share. I want to talk about another type of dating disaster. And this is something that you and I talked about, over the weekend, or earlier this week. So dating people that have had children, right? And that have been married and or have been married in the past. I always tell people, I always say this, we do the Ready to Love conversations. I always feel like, what's up, Canada? What's up, Boston?
What's up, Beantown? I see you.
Um, I always say that I feel like it's okay if you don't have children to say that you prefer to date people that don't have children, right?
Right, right.
And the reason that I say that is because people that have children, there's a much more complicated person to date.
Who do you think is more complicated for, the men or the women?
I think both. I think both. And this is for different reasons.
Okay.
A lot of times the men don't have custody of their children, right? That's changing because I know a lot more men that are getting custody of their children. But I think either way, you have to be, if you start to date someone that has children and you're dating them with the potential of marriage, you don't want to date them with the idea that, oh, well, the kids aren't going to be a problem because he doesn't have custody. Because at any point in time, if you have a child, at any point in time, you could end up with full custody of that child. That's just the truth. Now, something could happen to the mother. The child could decide they want to come and live with you. The mother may go through a hardship. Like at any point in time, anyone,
Especially if he has boys, because women have a tendency, once the boys get around 14, you got to go with your dad.
I know girls that have gone to stay with their dad because the girl is like, I want to be with my dad. My daddy doesn't. Dads are usually a little bit easier on daughters, and a lot of times daughters like, I come 15, 16, I want to go live with my daughter, my dad. You know what I mean? So I think hey, what's up, Tamasha? I think it's both. I don't think it's easier to date a man with children or a woman with children. I think it's difficult on both sides, and I think that, like for myself, my children don't have kids. So, and they're in their 20s, their late 20s. And I would tell them not to date someone that has children because it is something that they are probably not going to be prepared to deal with. There are other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yes, sir. There are issues outside of the relationship that happen when there's a blended family, right? Darika says age of the children makes a difference. Honestly,
It does. It
what
does.
I have learned is that it's always, and it doesn't matter if the age. Now, if they're underage, then they could possibly have to live with you. But when children, your kids are always your kids are always your kids, no matter what age they are. So I would love to hear what you guys think. What do you think about dating women with children? Because I know you had no problem doing that. You embraced it. You bought Mother's Day balloons for
You're just gonna keep bringing this.
because you were. I just felt like that was not necessary.
I was with a mother. It was with a woman on Mother's Day. She was a mother. I wasn't gonna ignore Mother's Day. It was balloons from the dollar store. Everything cost about $5.
I don't know.
Never went on a date. We didn't go on the date because it was Mother's Day. It happened to be Mother's Day. I didn't even know it was Mother's Day.
But I felt like at least you could have had balloons for the mothers of your children.
I sent them a text. That's how we do. They sent me a text on Father's Day. I said, that's how we do.
That's fair. That's fine. But this woman that you don't know that you're just dating, she gets balloons.
She gets from the dollar store. You act like I went to edible arrangements or something.
All I know is that y'all Mo was so happy. He was just whistling.
I was not.
Yes, he was. He was.
I always remixing the story. I came downstairs and I walked past you and John in the kitchen, and y'all laughed at me.
And why do y'all think we laughed? Because he had a bouquet of balloons and he was super excited. It wasn't just
dollar store don't sell. I had to.
It was a bouquet of balloons.
I was being a good guy.
Right. Yes. Sure.
I'm gonna ignore her on. That's like ignoring her on. If a woman went out with me, and it happens to be Father's Day, and she just was like, never acknowledged it in any form or fashion, I would think that's kind of weird, knowing I'm a father.
No, I get you. It's just funny, and it still is funny that you were just a whistling Dixie and had all this.
I don't even know how to whistle. Why you keep?
You were super excited. That's why we laughed.
No,
We were like,
I was
where are
excited
you
for
going?
activities after. This is not true.
What?
I was excited for something totally different.
Why were you excited?
It's none of your concern. But
No, it's our concern. It's our concern. Why were you? What made you so excited?
It was, man. What year was this? It was what, 2006? I don't know.
I thought you said you were excited because she had big titties.
I'm not really a titty man like that. And they weren't even. No, I'm not really a breast man. They're cool if you got them, but I don't really require those.
Mel said you did right. Ignore Christal. I'm just saying he was just super excited. We were just like,
What's
where are you going? And it was Sunday morning.
It was like Mo was trying to get him. I've been had the drugs. Ben.
He was taking her out for a Mother's Day brunch.
I happened to be, I didn't even know it was, when I found out the next day was going to be Mother's Day, I went to the dollar store up on Cam Creek. If y'all familiar, y'all know. They called me $5 for everything.
I don't know about that.
All right.
Well, maybe so. You probably telling the truth. But then the funny thing is, so we were supposed to go out because they were trying to make me feel good because it was Mother's Day. And then Mo was like, oh, we'll take you out later today. You remember that we went to Cheesecake Factory later, me, you, and John, to celebrate Mother's Day after you got back from your date with the...
Yeah, I had to take care of that. Then I came in, it's all good, man. We got you in.
All right, let's ask. So Rose has a question. Let's bring this in. Rose didn't want to jump on live, but she does have a question, so we'll take that. Question for the chat and panel. Is it a red flag if someone you are dating who is divorced doesn't want to discuss the reasons why their marriage ended?
Yes.
I say yes also.
Yes, it definitely is. Definitely is.
Yeah.
I like to ask even on breakups. Well, what happened? I like to know. And here's the reason. Because if they say something, if the person, usually when it's like that, the person broke up with them, right? And because of whatever issue. And that issue might be an issue you might be coming up with. You might have to face. And the person's like, they said I was this and said I was that. And you blow it off. I'm just saying, put it in the back of your mind. Don't hold it in front. 9 times out of, it's a good chance you're going to run across that same issue. Not all the time, but a lot of times.
Look at what happened on the Never Ever Mess with Sienna. She said that other guys have told her that same thing. And
there you have it.
He ain't listened to the other guys or Brandon. I agree, but I think it's a red flag because I think that if you are trying to learn to be a better person, right? Divorce is usually not one person's fault. Usually there's some responsibility on both sides. So if that person can't share with you what their responsibility, what their if they can't be accountable to you about what they did and what they learned, that's a red flag. Like you
there
can't.
You go.
Yeah, you can't. And that goes both ways, women and men.
Because even if it was something for you to speak up and own it and just say, I was a different person then, I respect that.
Right.
Because none of us are flawless and, things happen. And
right.
if you own it and just be like, you know what, I was in a different place in my life at that time and or I could see what they're saying. I didn't see it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I can respect that. But if you don't want to talk about it, I know you were the problem. I know you was the problem.
I also think that could mean that you are not necessarily over that situation. That's another issue.
I didn't think about it.
If you're not willing to talk about it, chances are you're still hurt. You still got an open wound, or it's still an open door. And I think that's always a red flag.
Great point.
Mel Goodman asked this question. Is it a red flag when you meet a guy who said he is going to be married within the next year? I feel it's weird to have a time frame.
I don't know if it's a red flag, but pinkish. I mean, because I think at that point people are trying to just fit a peg. You see what I'm saying? Inside a hole. They're just trying to not see what happens. You know, I would like to be sometime in the future. I dig that, but when you put that type of time on it, like they do on these reality shows, it's like you're trying to really trying to just. I'm just trying to get the person to fit into this narrative or this thing.
Yeah.
And it might not be, you know, and things take time. Who's to say how people move? I think everybody dictates, you know, every situation dictates itself. You know, you develop your own rhythm. If you go by society's rhythm or what they say, then, or even what you put before you even meet the person, they might don't make it in your timeline. It doesn't mean that they're bad people or even the wrong person. And that's a lot to put on somebody that they might be thinking totally different. I think.
I actually going to play devil's advocate. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that specifically when it comes to men, I've talked to so many men that have said that they meet amazing women all the time and they just weren't ready, right? I've heard a lot of guys say, I meet a lot of good women, I'm just not ready. So I think that a man that says that, I don't necessarily think it's automatically a red flag. I think that it could be someone that's saying, I'm ready, and I've been the problem, and I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to, I know what I want. And when I meet the woman that's a good woman, I'm gonna go ahead and put a ring on it. So I think that that doesn't necessarily have to be a red flag. If he's trying to just quit, fit anybody in there and he's desperate, that's different. But if he's saying that this is what I know I want and I'm speaking it into existence, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Mel says, I kind of felt he thought he was getting older and wanted to make sure he had someone there when he needed someone to take care of him.
Hey,
He was afraid to die alone.
hey now,
yeah,
hey now.
that's real.
No, now if you meet the woman and then you say, I would like, or in your mind, or maybe even out loud to her, I would love to get, but to say it before you meet the person is a little, it sounds like there's an agenda. And it might just be honest, you just want to be in that space. But wait till you meet the person, and then, I will figure. Somebody said hospice wife. That's hilarious.
We were talking about that earlier. I had a girlfriend. Let me go grab some water. Give me 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
Right.
In the meantime, in between time, like I was saying, I really think that it's not to have structure and have your life. Well, in the year I want to be, I think it helps if it is the right person. I mean, if you meet the person and then let's say in 6 months, you was like, yo, I would love to be married in a year, that kind of thing. But if you don't have anybody on deck and you just meet someone and you say that, or before you meet them, you're just talking to someone in a bar, I think that's a little scary. And I've been in situations where, I literally just met someone and they sat there and told me that, I would love to be married in a year, or just moved entirely too fast off the first initial conversation. I had a woman tell me she wanted me to help her find her father. No, she was adopted, her biological parents, or at least her mom. And this was the first conversation. That was a little scary for me. I was like, wow, how do you view, it's kind of fast. Like, she didn't know where her and I were going to go. It absolutely didn't go anywhere. But I think that's a lot to put on someone on the first date. 53 is not old. What the hell? Oh, good evening, Mel. How old is he? What the? Okay. I was somebody was talking about me because I'm 53. Okay, cool. But in the meantime, I just think that it says if he's saying he's ready is one thing. It's right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And just to put that energy out there, if you say sometime soon, but in the year, it's kind of a lot can happen in the year. Don't get me wrong. I've seen guys propose in the year. I've seen a lot of that. So you'll be surprised when a man feels it and he's ready. I think he's going to make that move. But to announce it in general, let's say if you had it on your dating profile on a dating site, I would like to be married. Yeah.
That's weird, but I've heard people say and do it. Like if I meet the girl and a woman that is the right one, I'm not going to waste any time, right?
Right, but you have to meet the right one. He's saying it just in general, right?
But he's saying if he that well, yeah, that's true. I mean, it could definitely go either way, but it sounds like in her situation, he was he is trying to he doesn't want to die alone. I think everybody is afraid of that at some point, right? Oh, all right. Gun Boss has a dating dilemma. He says, when my dating dilemma is when is Mo going to get a woman so we can go on double dates?
You could be right around the corner, brother. Never know. Could be.
But you know what? What you're not going to do is play in our faces and feed us a dream. You know?
Could be. You never know how these things work. I might, you never know. But I will say this.
He's pandering.
I'm who? No, I'm not. I know what that means too. You never know with these things. But I know when a man gets you get tired of playing, and you like, especially if you see all your partners with women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And wives. And I remember seeing my best friends from up north. They were twins, and they had wives. And I was on Facebook. I was like, they look happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a couple years later, I had a girlfriend. One of them came in town. This is when Atlantic Station was popping. Remember they had the strip in there and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
There's a restaurant named Strip.
Yeah.
But and they came in town. And then when I got the pictures on the internet of fool y'all, man, he pulled me to the side. I was in the parking garage. I was like, man, I am so tired. But through the pictures, I was like, I'm sitting up here going on these meaningless dates, and they look happy. They look like they're enjoying each other's company. Man, we were walking to the car. He's like, man, I can't stand it, man. This is probably the last time you've ever seen her.
But I mean, I also think that okay, Gumbo said you said that 3 years ago, and he did, baby, he did.
It's rough out here, man. Y'all are together. Y'all don't know what it is out here.
What are you talking about? Both of us were in these streets just a few short years ago.
That was before the pandemic.
You know what? That's the next question that we're going to ask.
Pandemic is a little different. I'm working.
You get ready to ask that. But I think that what people that are single have to realize is married people, they especially ones that have been together for a long time,
yeah,
they're used to each other. And just like your kids may get on your nerves, that doesn't mean that you don't love your kids. It doesn't mean that you don't want your kids.
They got divorced, Crystal. He got with his high school sweetheart. They got divorced.
Oh, okay. Well,
they got divorced.
That ends that story. It's that story. Let me ask you guys this. Mo and I were talking about this, and I told him that I feel like I was recently out in the dating. He said it's different. Do you guys think that it is different dating post-pandemic than pre-pandemic? I just can't believe that.
Listen, two things I know. People that knew we just met right before or during got together and still together. The people who were together and had issues, that pandemic shit done broke it off all the way. It finished it. People, because what happened is people really got a chance. Sometimes you see, when you live with someone, you're seeing them in passing almost, right? Mm-hmm. You get off work, I get off work, cook dinner, go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Sundays, he's watching the game with the fellas. She's going to brunch, that kind of thing. But when this thing sits your ass down, you have to deal with whatever it is, right? You really get to see her, and let's say his job was still working and she's at the computer. That's her job. And she might be working, and you walk in and you be like, she is still here. You know what I'm saying? She's like, You
But that
still
can
here?
happen. That can happen with any, even friends. Like that's
No,
normal.
it could, but then again, you can have a love story like yours. It slowed you down. So the pandemic was necessary for both things. It
Yes,
got people together,
and
and for people, huh?
I guarantee you, on even any given day, if you talk to Adrian, I may be on his nerves, and he may be
No,
on
no, no, no.
mine.
I get. I mean, that's natural, normal stuff. I'm talking about it helped. It slowed you down, and then it sped a lot of people that needed to break up. It need told them what to do, or the people that were stuck in the middle. Nobody was making any money, so nobody could move.
They were. I also think that it showed us that life is short, and you never know what will happen.
Yeah,
So you shouldn't be in a miserable situation.
facts.
Toya C has a question, and I'm going to let you answer this because no sugar pie. How rude is that? Drink my water. Um, so her question is, what issues are single men facing while dating? And if there are any single men on here that want to chime in, please do.
Or about to be single.
Come on, Mo. What issues are single men facing while dating? And then I had a conversation with a guy friend earlier that I will share, but I want you to go first.
I think I don't think I know um a woman's true, because everyone wants to live the soft life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the women, that's this thing now, the soft life. To I don't want to have to do this. I want to have to do that. So our thing is, are you dating for that, or are you dating you like me and that becomes that? I don't think men mind that becoming that, but when you put that in front of, you see what I'm saying? That thing, then it's like, well, what is it really for? And then we live in the city like Atlanta. It's like there's a lot of distractions for everyone. I think it's men and women. They like to just put it on the men, but I think there's men and women. There's a lot of successful brothers out here, you know, and people are competing that spot. I just think we're living in a different time where women are like, listen, um, most of the, not now so much, but before, a lot of women were making way more money. They were attracted to me, but they made more money than I did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a dilemma in itself, right? And he's like, yo, this is, and they seem to not have a problem with it, but until it goes on and there's a problem with something else, then that other thing was a problem, which you didn't even know because it was told that you were cool. So that's one dilemma. The other one was the first one I explained about the what is their intent? Because I just want to chill and do this, and they don't see these women working on these reality shows, well, the housewives shows anyway. So they want the soft life. And I think if you find the right man, the things that you want, you'll more likely get. But if you put the things that you want before the man, then it just becomes, I don't know. I don't know if it's an affirmation for them and they're speaking it and they're just waiting around. But the true intent of a woman, we used to know. I don't know anymore.
What was the true intent prior?
I like you, you like me. We could be a team and do something together. It doesn't mean that when they said, besides every good man is a good woman, and then and that was the thing. And I'm not saying she's got to play like just lift him up. We're supposed to be here for each other. And that team thing doesn't seem like a thing anymore. It's like you get there, like I was saying before on other show, they don't want the guy in the race no more. They want the guy at the finish line. A lot of us are not at the finish line due to whatever. Due to
I
what?
will say, I do know this. There are a lot of, yeah, soft life is ridiculous. PR Envy, thank you for that comment earlier. Said married, married people are stressing their single friends out, probably, and vice versa. But I do think that around 40s, mid 40s, right? You have a lot of men that were on their game, probably had a good, were in a good space, and they went through a divorce, or they're paying child support to numerous households. Now, if
Woo.
if a man is paying child support for more than one child, he's going to have very little. available income. Very little, because it just, child support is a very takes a lot out of their household and puts it in the household. But that's what comes with it. I think that's another thing. I just feel like, we need to be educating young men and young women on what having children outside of marriage does, right? Or even divorce. Like, divorce is financially devastating. So you meet a man that is 45 years old and he's divorced, he's paying child support, he's probably not going to be at the best place financially, and that's something that no one talks about. I don't hear people talking about that online. I hear women saying they want a man that makes all this money, but what if he has 4 kids? If he has 4 kids, he don't have no money. You know what I mean? Because no matter how much he makes, a lot of it, the bulk of it, is going to those children, and he needs to pay for those. He needs to pay child support. You don't want to date a man that's sneaking away and getting out of his child support. So I think we have to be realistic about where people are.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a super great, because I just saw something on the what do you call it, Department of Labor, saying that only 12 to 50, I think it's 12% of women make over 100 grand.
Well, I shared those stats earlier, and it was it was 2.5% of people make over half a million, and it was less than 10%, like around 10% make over 100,000. And that's crazy, because that's what everybody seems to want.
That's my point. So I just think us really being realistic with one another, like really being realistic. And I think that's a hard, especially when you live in it, depending on where you live at, people are understanding to certain things.
Yeah.
Because that's what they really, really see. But when you live in the places where it's a lot of facade stuff going on, whether it be Atlanta, whether it be Houston, whether it be LA, then you got the podcast in your ear.
Oh man.
You got all these things, thinking you should be getting more than, not saying more than what you deserve or more than what you're worth, because I think everyone should, go for it, man. And if that's what you desire, you work hard. But to put that on someone else and say you should give that to me, it's just like,
yeah,
and the child support thing, man, is a whole nother, like, I had a discussion with someone, was it early in the week? And they was asking me what should they do, because a woman was threatened to put them on child support. It was a young guy. And I was trying to tell, and here's the thing, like, it's a threat. It's a tool to use against you. You're together with this woman living in a house. An argument happens.
Yeah.
And she said, I'll put you on child support. Child support is not for failed relationships. It's for failed fathers. He hasn't even proven to be a failed father, but it's used as a tool against him before it's even proven that he's that. It's just a failed relationship or failing.
But that's a really good point.
Huh?
You should post that. Failed child support is not for failed relationships. It's for failing fathers. That is a really good point. I do want to bring a point to what we talked about. As of February 22nd, 2024, 6% of Americans earn a salary of 100,000 or more.
Okay.
As of February this year, it was a little bit more a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Also, 28% of households make over 100,000. So a household would suggest that there's 2 people together working towards that. And sometimes it may be more than 2 people, in a household. So yeah, 6% of people make it on their own, 28% of households. And someone earlier in the chat said the wealth distribution in this country is absurd. Yes, Rose, it absolutely is. It is ridiculous. But that's also why we have to stop playing ourselves and realize that you are stronger together. I'm definitely not ever going to advocate for women to be a part of a struggle couple and participate in struggle love.
Right.
But I also think the idea of finding this man who's going to buy you Birkin bags is absolutely ridiculous, when only 6% of people make over 100,000. And there are some men that will spend their money frivolously on things like that to get a woman, right? And if he does, to me, that's always a bad sign of what is he bad with money? Because I've had some guys buy me a couple of bags, right? I've got a couple of bags. But when I got married, I look at Adrian's money like this is our money. So I don't necessarily, although I would like a bag, and he knows I like a Chanel bag. But my point is, I would much rather us build a fence and fix our home and have some money in the bank. So because I'm aware that those things are so much more important than a Chanel bag, which is important, but not as important. Seriously, I'm being funny, but seriously, that's not as it's not as important. And my priorities are not that. My priorities really are: I want our home to be good. I want us to be in a good place. Right. And him taking money out of the house to go trick off on a Chanel bag, when you actually look at how much that is and what the debt to income ratio, like you said, it's just ridiculous if you are constantly spending on things that have no value. And I know that people like Marlo Hampton say you can take your bags and trade them in later, but the reality is
shut your dumb ass up.
It's not an investment.
You made a good point. I like that. I think if more people thought like that, you treat it like it's your, because I've seen women, they don't mind, they don't spend theirs, but they don't mind spending yours.
But if you guys are married, then it's ours. And Patrice, that's a good point. Out of that 6%, no, it is not 6% of Black people. That's 6% of people. Right. And you have to realize that Black people are a little over 14% of the country. So out of that 14, if you take 14% of the country, period, and then we look at 6% overall, then it's even a much smaller. It's probably going to be half of, if not even, it probably is about 2 or 3% of African Americans that earn over 100,000 a year. Just realistically, if 6% of people, then you got to realize we're a small, even though we feel mighty, we're a small population in the United States compared to the majority. Absolutely. And we are not that, and also we know that there are financial limitations on us that we are dealing with, and we're overcoming them. But the reality is we're not at that level yet. So yes, and that's another thing. If you want a Black man, you may want to adjust your salary requirements.
Yeah. And it's not that it can't happen. I'm just saying, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Yes, and I was married for 6 months. I'll put it out there.
Kim J says, my sister has a great career and does everything on her own. So whenever she dates, no one keeps her attention. It's so sad. Not for her, for me, because I want a niece or nephew. Bless your heart. And that may be a long ride for you, but I can relate to that. I think that, there was this idea that women would get married because they needed to, and that you would have children. But I think over the last few decades, women are definitely doing more in the workplace. So there is this idea that I don't want to put up with anything, and I can do bad all by myself. All of us were taught that. That was the mantra of Black women after they went through some pain. I can do bad all by myself, and I still believe that, right? But if you can do bad all by yourself, or you can thrive by yourself, but you could thrive even more with the right partner, not any partner, but the right partner.
If you know the man is not rich, which you're really supposed to be, you're supposed to be doing it anyway. It might not be with money, but you're supposed to be lightening load for each other. Mm-hmm. Not just for you, not just for him. It's supposed to be, it's a partnership, and I think we lose that. Yeah. Now, it might not, I might pay all the bills or whatever, but you come for moral support. Like, you balance it out with that. You do something, but it's just so do for me. It's just like, so if I can't, I'm no good. Or if I'm not able, or I need to provide, my provider might be information.
It doesn't really pay bills?
No, I'm saying I'm paying bills, but it's not all bills. Some of it is knowledge.
Yeah.
So, that was part of the reason of the women back in the day having older men, and their parents would co-sign it. You know what I mean? He can show you things, but you
Well,
know,
a lot of that was really because he was able to take care of you.
yeah,
Really, that was more financial.
you know, I hear the women leaders. If you've ever played sports, you heard of the term coachable. This person is not coachable. A lot of women want leaders, but they not coachable. You can't.
Now, I'm gonna have to say there are a lot of men that want to coach but have never played the game and don't know what they're doing.
No, I got that. I'm just talking about the ones that want that and they see it, but you can't be like if you're gonna try to listen, if it don't work or whatever, you pick the man. Pick
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to pick based on what you want. And
right.
I know for me, I'm not going to pick someone to coach me at something that they haven't proven that they can do themselves. You know what I mean? Like you have to have
or teachable, yeah. Or
it's got to be like the guys that are to me the best coaches are former players. So if you can't prove that you were successful,
well, they were former players, but were they good? What's the name that got the most rings out of anybody? He wasn't. He was alright. He wasn't that good though. Huh?
Is that Phil Jackson?
Phil Jackson.
Ooh, man, I'm proud of myself. Look at me just
okay.
Look at me just spelling out sports facts.
Okay.
Let me ask you this question, because this is another thing that came up this week, and I just want the chat's thoughts on this. If you have a question, please put it in the chat. If you guys don't feel comfortable coming on, this has just been a fun night. We'll definitely have some. We'll go back to our normal way, having some calls in next week. But if you have a question, you can put it in the chat.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
The preference thing. Because I went back and saw one of the videos and I saw the comments. Well, I saw the comments. I didn't see the actual video. Mm-hmm. But people, it's nothing wrong with having a preference. And if whatever your preference is not your preference, it doesn't mean that you think that those people are wrong. Right. Or they shouldn't have love.
Right.
You know, everyone, you like what you like. And it's not for you, it's not for you. Excuse me, it doesn't make those bad people. It doesn't mean those people don't deserve love. I've had people tell me, I don't, I like a guy with hair, or, I don't date Scorpios, or, you're not tall enough, or your penis is too big. Whatever they say about me, I'm just saying. And I don't get mad at it. It's just, okay, it's cool. It's cool. I don't trip on it. I'm not for everybody. I'm just saying, put that out there. I'm just saying.
Thank you. For that idiotic, shameless plug.
Just saying.
That may or may not be true.
That's what they tell me. I don't know.
Well, women lie. That's for another show. Women lie about it.
Don't mind your business over there. Y'all know what I got.
Women lie. So
I'm just saying, everybody's not for everybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever, Mo. Anyway, not that he tried to slip that in. My question was, all right, we let me ask you guys what you think about this. I have a friend that men lie to. That's true. But you know what? I think that it's crazy that people are going around assuming that they know that they're good in bed. Like, I mean,
who said that? I never said that.
Well, you alluded to.
No, for big, you could be big and not good. And first of all, I never said that. They said that. Somebody said that.
Who is they?
We don't say names on here. It's just in the past.
Whatever. Anyway, we'll deal with that another day. Graduation. Lots of people graduated. I have heard. I've talked to several people who mother did not want the father to attend graduation because the father was not paying child support regularly, or the mother just does not like the father, and the mother is the primary parent.
Mm-hmm.
What are you all's thoughts on if the primary parent, how much should they dictate about the relationship with the other parent. It appears that, and I wasn't aware of this because even though I've been divorced for almost 12, 14, 15 years, my ex always had access to my kids. I never, I'm the one that sent him the information for the graduation. I just didn't know that this was happening. Right now, I did. Well, I won't even say that. I always, send him invitations and everything. So I'm wondering, how do you all feel about that? Do we feel like if a man is not paying child support, does he not have a right to attend graduation? If he's missed some child support payments, like, how do people feel about women dictating the interaction and the father being a part of celebratory events like graduation?
I'll say let the child decide. Don't plant seeds. Don't hint around. Don't try to put stuff in the air to or make them feel guilty. I've seen that. 50 Cent went through that. I saw that posted. No, I saw that post. It came up. No, it was an old post that came up and was like he wasn't invited. And he paid for private school and everything. But my whole thing is sometimes you can pay and it's not like that because they don't like you. And that's what it is. I know even I had a situation was like, well, what did you not what she said, I'm trying to find out the date and everything, and they was like, well, call the school. And I'm like, you didn't call the school, they gave you the information. Sometimes as the primary parent, some information you should give to them. It's like you didn't have to do that, so why do I have to do that? And then I hear the people, well, you just got to do what you got to do and work harder. And I'm just like, which is an insult. And it's like, why do I have to work for that at all? Especially if you're paying child support, stuff like that. And I'm just like, the child support thing is an issue, and I get it. There might be a situation where you pay for everything, the graduation, the prom, and you ask that child. If this person is a bum, that child will find that out eventually.
I agree.
For you to put that on them and plant those seeds, I think is dead wrong. And 9 times out of 10, look at her situation with her father and her parent, and that'll tell you what you need to know. Not every time, but a lot of times.
Well, I feel like I don't feel like a father should be restricted from a graduation. I do feel like if you know your child is graduating, that you should go up to the school or call the school and figure that out. Because
I know you got to be on some paperwork, right? If you're not on that paperwork, they don't give you that information.
Right. And that's what happened in my friend's case.
Yeah.
The mother took him off the paperwork, and so he couldn't get the information. And then the mother restricted him, took him off the paperwork, told the school that because they had a certain amount of tickets and did not provide him with the ticket. And then, but thankfully in his situation, one of the counselors had compassion and gave him a ticket. And so he was able, but the mother got upset with the daughter that she wanted the father there. And it's so sad to me that there's so much of this happening. And this is where we see, like I said, blended families go wrong. Miss Pretty Amazing says, I saw one that said the mother had a restraining order on the father so that the mother did not let him attend the child's graduation. And I've heard that as well. The mother has a restraining order out, so the father can't be within a certain amount of feet from the child. And I mean, from the mother. And so if the mother's going to graduation, then the child.
That's a little different. Like, it's certain unique circumstances. Like, I get that. You know what I'm saying?
I still think that's wrong. I think that's wrong.
She can't help it at that point.
Well, if he did something to deserve a restraining order, sometimes people are cruel and vindictive when it comes to breakups, right? We know that all's fair in love and war. And so a lot of times people will go to great extents just to, put the other parent in a bad predicament. A broken heart is a hard thing, and a lot of people take it out in a dysfunctional way.
I just think that for some reason, man, like a man's love for his child has less value than a woman, and I hate that. I
don't think that's true. I think that's what.
No, I'm saying that's how we feel, and that's how we're treated. It looks like that. And no one stepped forward and tried to change anything. We got to jump through more hoops to do the same exact thing as the primary parent or whatever. I mean, they don't mind the money part of it, but it's a F you pay me system on some people. Some mothers are great. It's not a child support problem. It's a co-parenting problem.
Right.
That's the thing. You could be a great mother to the child, but you could be a lousy co-parent. That's what it is. And vice versa.
Right.
You could be for the mother, you could take the son and grab him for the weekend and do the summers and do all this stuff, but you're horrible. You're not giving her. The son broke his arm over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't tell her. Or when it happened, you didn't call her. The son he laying up she didn't know for 2 days. That's your job as the man while you got your child, is to reach out to her and let her know about her child.
That's true. But I think every situation is different, even though there's a lot of commonalities and generalizations, because I know that there are people that do try to reach out, and the other parent don't want to hear from you. They don't, when the kids are with you, they don't want to hear anything from you. I think ultimately the kids are the ones that suffer, and it also creates dysfunctional and toxic relationships within children. So when the mother and the father are fighting, the child grows up with that toxicity in their system, and then they end up getting in a relationship and they have all these bad habits and bad behaviors based on how they were raised. You know what I mean? But to me, it's just at the point that you are more focused on keeping your ex from the daughter's graduation than making her day a beautiful one, then to me that's not being a good mother.
There you go.
Yeah,
I believe that.
Parents definitely create the dysfunction. And unfortunately, like, this is how I feel. You chose the person that you have children with. I don't care if you hate their guts. You gave Pawpaw the job. In the words of Cat Williams, you gave Pawpaw the job. You chose this man to have children with. You chose this woman to have children with. Now, if that person turns out to be horrible, you have to shoulder some of that responsibility.
Yeah.
You have to. And now you don't want the child to have any relationship with them because you don't have one, but you liked them enough to lay down with them. Like, that is crazy.
I've seen it happen with women that are girlfriends. Like I told you, it'd be 3 girlfriends, one fall out with one, and she cool with the other, and now she's mad that she's speaking to the other one. They do it with kids too. They don't want you to like them.
But it's unfair because at one point you liked the dad a lot.
Right.
You liked him a lot.
You laid down with that man.
You laid down.
The same thing with that woman.
Same thing.
For whatever it is, if she was a loose woman, it was a one-night stand.
A loose woman?
Well, I'm trying to use the H word.
A loose woman?
Not to lose the H word on him.
I'm just saying, men are extremely loose. So
we get to that. Okay. Let's deal with the men first. Yeah, and I was part of the loose crew. Yes.
Thank you. I'm just saying, because you say it like loose woman,
but we're talking about we talked about the men. I mean, the women, and you laid down. I'm just saying, if you were the man and you had a child by the loose woman, you still had a child by that woman. You still got to be there.
Yes, especially
because you can't dismiss the child because you had a baby by a loose woman. That's still your child.
Loose woman. That's bothering me.
When you have a baby by some hoes,
you sound like Drake.
What? Loose? There's nothing wrong with. Look, I was loose.
No, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like you were equally yoked at the time.
What? This ain't about what?
I'm just saying, if a man is loose and a woman is loose, then it's all this. Then everything.
We're talking about her. We can talk about me. I was loose. I was loose as a goose out here. Yes, I was. I did my thing, and I reformed. Not saying you can't recover from being loose. You can tighten up. It happens.
My point is, we should not look at it as a negative thing with a woman if we're not looking at it as a negative thing with the man.
We were just happy. No, I was getting to the negative part as the man, just because she was a certain way or that man was a certain way. But let's stick to the one. You still got to be there for that child. This ain't about her. This is about the child. loose woman, good woman, no matter what it is, that's still your child.
That's true. That's true. Tamasha says, let me ask, are we saying that the statement from the mindset of the person I have sex with, I'm automatically choosing them to have his child? The breakdown isn't sex. The breakdown is reality. No, I feel like when you lay down with someone, you know that that's quite a possibility, right? And as an adult, you have to know that. So as a woman, if you lay down with a man, even if you use a condom, condoms break. There's the possibility that this can happen. And it's certainly after, and if you make the choice to have the child, then you have chosen to have it's not like it's no mystery how children get here. And yet everybody acts so surprised when they get here. At this point, there's all types of plan Bs and everybody is and birth control pills and condoms, and people still get pregnant and then are angry and want to curse out the baby's father and then want the child not to have anything to do with him. You gave Papa the job. It's you can't do that. I am a part of that crew. Like, I have 2 children, my ex-husband, and regardless of where we are today, at one point I believed that he was I trusted him with being the father of my children. It is what it is. But you can't make the children pay for your bad mistake.
There you go.
You want them to deny half of who they are because you feel like you made a mistake. It's ridiculous. I think you can fire people, but I don't think you cannot erase.
You can't fire
your child.
Like, what?
You can't erase DNA from your child.
Yeah, you can't, and vice versa, man. You can't get a new baby, and this is having your kids call your new woman. That's not their mom.
It's not their mom.
Could be mom-like, but that's not their mom at the end of
Mother
the day.
Adjacent.
We all get
Mother
one.
Adjacent.
Who?
Mother adjacent. Like, she has a mothering personality.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
My dad's wife.
As you should be.
Yeah.
If I'm dating a woman, I ain't dating a woman with a bunch of kids, but I'm accepting them. If not, I'm not doing it.
What's your limit on the number of children?
You're going to try to paint me in the corner. Man. How old are they? See, I'm dating a woman of a certain age, so by the time I show up, they good and grown.
But you're right. But say you meet a woman who has 4 kids and they're all over the age of 25. Those children,
25. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Now, I'm not at this point, I'm not dating a woman with 4 kids and they're all in from high school to elementary.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not, I give you one. You can have one still lingering around, going
on their way out. But okay, but what if so you meet a woman and she has a 30-year-old, a 32-year-old, 25, and the 32-year-old is married and he and his wife need some place to stay, and now they have moved in with you and your woman. See, I'm telling you, the older kids it's almost worse.
I'm like, what kind of kids you was raising? They don't have to do what you.
No, everybody. It's a hard world out there.
You know what?
It's only 6% of people.
It's her kids and her family. At that point, things happen. Anything.
You're gonna scoot over and let them come on in.
We gotta figure it out. I mean, tornado could have knocked down their house. Red Cross ain't got nowhere for them to stay. Y'all come on. I mean, we gotta figure it. That's family at that point.
It is.
I don't want to be like that. That's family at that, because it might happen to me.
It could.
We might have to stay with the kids. What about you? Didn't think about that?
I thought you were gonna say you may have to move one of your kids in, but you meant you may have to stay with the kids. Yeah,
no, our house tornado insurance is gonna take a while. I might have to stay with them for a minute.
I'm telling you what, I am not. Adrian and I are not moving in with none of the kids. No, I'm not moving in with Chanel and Stone.
You'd be like, look, until they fix the new house.
No way.
I ain't staying in no weekly motel until they get that shit ready. Or I might rent a spot, I guess. Mo, what if the woman is in her mid-30s and wants a child? You're just gonna want a child. yeah, I'm just I'm good. A couple years ago, you might have got me.
I did because I asked you that a few years ago, and you were still open. So
You might have got me,
you
but
shut the door.
what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You gotta be this. I'm gonna look
A
ridiculous.
55-year-old father.
Dropping the kids off at daycare before I go to work. I'll be looking crazy.
All right, Rose asked, we're going to end with this question. What are some good rules of thumb for bonus moms and dads or step parents to follow? I would say this because I've recently become a bonus mom. But when I became a bonus mom, the kids are all over the age of like 21. So I just kind of look at it like, not necessarily a bonus mom, but just like a bonus person. Because they're grown. It's not like, little kids are so sweet. They want to bond with you. Older kids are judgment. They're not trying to. They're looking at you like, who is this woman? But I think I would say the rule of thumb is you have to be, anytime you marry someone, you have to be open and you have to be willing. And for me, and I believe Adrian as well, I did not want to be with a man that did not love his children. That was part of what I fell in love with him about, was because he just loves his daughters to death. Like he just is there. He's just so mushy. He's a girl dad, right? And I love that. I love the fact that he's a proactive father that really cares and really wants to be involved. And they have he is involved on the ground level. Actually had custody of them at one point. So I told him when we got together, I said, your children are always welcome. And also, I wanted them to know that I would never try to keep their dad away from them, because I hear that happens so
Yeah.
often. You know what I mean? So I think you have to be open and willing to give whatever they're willing to receive. There's some kids that are really open to a bonus parent. There are others that are not so open. And I think you just have to know it's not about you, but you also have to be open to adaptable is good. Thank you, Joyce. You have to be adaptable, and you have to make them a priority, because just like your kids are a priority. I think it's horrible when people treat someone else's children worse than they treat their own. Like, you can't do that. That's not fair.
I lived it. I lived it.
Yeah.
Me being the child. Miss Pretty Amazing says, Mo, what does it mean when a man was initially sweet, but then gets angry and cold very easily? He's taking your shit.
No.
No, I'm saying, I don't know what it is. If you meet them, a lot of times, I hate to say this, but this is one of the things. As we get to know people, we find out what it really is. Like, I hear a lot of more women than men say, when I first met them, it was, or they chased me down and I finally gave in. Well, they didn't get to know you while they were trying to break through to get to know you. And once they got to know you, it found out it wasn't what they thought it was. Then a lot of times the women be like, you wasted he didn't get to know you.
Yeah.
And it happens vice versa. It happens. Or they're not happy or where they're at in the space of their life, and they're putting it on you. Sometimes it's not personal.
Yeah. I think that. Do you think that sometimes men just like the chase? It's more exciting.
No, I think that's a myth, and women do that. They think that, but no, they like the other women, and the women think, oh, that's the chase. No, they like to maybe get to the draws, and because they're getting to the draws and they don't stop, women are like, oh, he likes the chase. No, he don't. He just knows that's part of the process. Just because we do it, don't think we like it. We just know this is what we got to do to get there.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Edna says, with the younger woman, you can still have children, Mo.
Well, there'll be some old, if it don't work, I'll be some old man paying child support. My child support days are over. You ain't going to catch me doing that. I'm good.
Miss Pretty Amazing says, Christal, being that your first marriage ended a certain way, what made you feel secure with getting married again?
Great question.
Well, once I learned that, number one, I had to forgive myself for my portion in the divorce, right?
I like that.
And I also had to realize that I was worthy of God giving me a second chance.
I
And
like
I
that.
had to do, and then the last thing I had to do was a lot of healing, right? Because I was building, I had built up a wall. It was funny, like my ex-husband was like 5'10" and a half. And I remember writing down what I wanted in a person, and I was like, he has to be 6'3", and he has to be this. And my counselor was like, what are you doing? But that was me trying to protect myself and really like painting myself into a corner because I didn't want to get hurt. So I was trying to put this big, tall fence up around me to protect myself so that nobody would. I felt like if this guy can be all these things, he has to be the right one. And all it did was keep me single, right? And then when I was able to heal more, I was able to let that down and be open. And then God blessed me with what I wanted, and 6'2" and a half. So, but more than that, but I mean, most importantly, all the character things. But really, it just has to do a lot with me healing. That's the part. A lot of times, if we're too afraid to move forward and we're all of that, it's us. We need to heal, and you know, do what you got to do to heal so that you can be ready to find love again.
Do you think we're better people? I've heard the percentage is greater to staying married from 40s moving forward than 20s going to 40s.
But you know what? I mean, that could be for a lot of reasons. I do think there's something to be said with there are a lot of people out here that just that don't want to be by themselves. You know what I mean? I think when they get to your 40s and 50s, some people just want to lock something down because they don't want to be by themselves. I don't want that. I wanted the real deal.
There
I
you go.
wanted the real thing. So I don't know. I was married for 13 years the first time. So my marriage lasted longer than a lot of people's do. And I think if it had stayed the right way, I probably would have never gotten divorced. So I don't think that it's because of age. I think it's really because of where you are. Edna asked, did the children receive you immediately? No, but that's not their fault because they had met several women. And when that's another thing that men need to know. When you are a dad with daughters, do not introduce your daughters to numerous women. It makes them feel some kind of way, and it sets the right woman up for failure. You know what I mean? Because they're tired of meeting women.
Okay. So what? Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I think that's something that men have to learn. And it's just it's girls look at their father's behavior. That's another thing because hey, Colton, if your daughter sees you with a lot of different women, then she's gonna have a hard time believing that a man would want only to be with her.
Mm, that's powerful. Okay. Okay. Hmm. I never thought about that. Okay.
Sit with that, chew on it for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna chew on that.
All right. Any last questions? Last questions for myself or Mo? Any last questions? Dating dilemmas. We didn't get into any dating disasters. Any dating dilemmas out there that people want to ask? Any other dating dilemmas? Thank you guys so much for the ones that did ask questions tonight. Really, this is about us all just trying to figure things out. I'm married, but we're still working it out. Both of us still are trying to be the best that we can. We don't know. We're
And
just
that's all you can do.
yeah, and invoke conversation that can help all of us, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I enjoyed tonight's conversation. We are right back in this thing on Friday. Friday, the never
I
ever
want to see with these people on Friday.
man, I'm telling you, I saw another clip. I'm telling you guys, it is still there are so many conversation pieces in this series. There are just so many conversation pieces in this series. Edna asked Mo, "Would you get married if you're 70 years old?"
Yeah. First of all, let me be real clear. I'm not out here like, I mean, getting a relationship again. I am doing great. I got the most peace I've ever had in my life. I get the most accomplished that I've ever done. So I'm good. But would I like to? Of course. And I think it'd be dope. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. 70, I get 80, roll me up in the wheelchair at the back of the front of the church and all that. I do all that. I'm not against marriage. I'm
I'll
personally.
be your best woman.
Oh Lord, listen, Christal.
Yeah, yeah. Mo, I like this question. Mo, last question. What would make you finally settle down with someone?
Um, it's gonna sound real cliche, but just a good woman for me. And we kind of talked about that before, Crystal. It's I'm I'm in a good space. It's not that I don't want to. I at this point, what's my line, Crystal?
My
I got
next move is my best move.
there it is. At this point, I really feel like that. And I don't want to waste anyone's time, and I surely don't want my time wasted. I'm not trying to be overly cautious, but at the same time, I can't afford to a, too big of a setback. You
Yeah,
know, and I would hope if she went through some things, she's thinking the same thing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But I'm definitely willing. It's just the thing for me. It's not perfection. Let me be
hmm,
real clear, because I have people that you're picky. And a little bit, yeah, because I'm playing for the rest of my life at this point. I'm not. Let me just do this for now. I'm trying not to do that. You know what happens, but I'm not trying to do that. but it's just a lady, that pours into me and I pour into her. And sometimes it's just this uh is this the right word? Je ne sais quoi. It's this thing I can't explain that makes you drawn to someone. This unexplainable thing. And you can sit there and a person can even ask you, well, what do you like about her?
hmm,
You can say the regular stuff, but there's something else that you can't explain that other people don't even see it, but you
yeah.
feel it in your soul. And I have been there, and I'm not trying to compare anyone and put them in that space, but I do feel like I'll be giving them less. I wouldn't be giving them all of me or my full potential or what I could truly give, because I really don't even know how much I can give, because I haven't been able to fully do that. I feel like I have more and I haven't been able to put it on display. So when we're like, well, what would you willing? Probably a lot. I've
Hmm.
done a little things, but I know I haven't even done my capacity or what I could do, and
Yeah.
I'm saving that for her.
Can I tell you what I like about you, friend? I do what I do
I know
like.
you got a note come here. I know it's coming.
No, it's good. What I really like about you is that you have always been an optimistic person. You're always looking for the good, to happen. So you're optimistic about it. And when you do get an odd situation, you go in, you do try to be careful, but you really want, I feel like you do truly want to surprise a woman and spoil her. Like we've had so many conversations where I'm like, take her flowers, and you're like, every time I do that, it doesn't work, but you'll try it again and it may not work. But no, but you do. And I love the fact that you do every time go into it hopeful and excited about what to, how to make the woman happy, right? And you really do go into it like that. You embrace it. And I don't always see that a lot with men. Like, I see that side of you because we're such good friends. So you'll show me the fact that you're really excited, about it. And even if it doesn't work out, you are a little bit hesitant to go all the way the next time, but at the end of the day, you always give another shot and you always believe in the positive. And I think that's why things good always happen for you. And I know the woman is coming. I just wish she would hurry up because we are really ready to have a good time and just do some fun things. But in the meantime,
You know what? I never did the couple thing.
I know we talked about that and
No,
we just,
just in life.
oh, well,
In
I was
life,
talking
in
about with
the
us.
3 years, I never did it.
Well, we are as Vito Crown says, we're rooting for you, Mo. We're all rooting for you. I am not going to hook him up anymore because he did not like people I hooked him up with. But
We
I'm just saying I tried and I felt like he didn't appreciate my hookups. But I do think that a woman is coming. I don't think it should be someone from the chat,
it,
even though they are shooting their shot, because I think this is a safe space where we can all talk. But it is coming. Last thing I'm going to say tonight, I actually am watching. Just started the Ultimatum South Africa, and I definitely will be sharing some of those issues in Dating Diaries because trust me, it's good. And I just love the fact that it's all brown faces. It makes me happy. The Ultimatum the last time was a little but we'll watch that too. But I love the South Africa one. It is interesting, and some of the same issues like cultures. It doesn't matter. Same issue. I saw Gun Boss. Okay, so my husband is summoning me to dinner.
There you go.
And you know what I did? I had made him some leftovers, and I put him in the microwave. And because you told me that this woman that you dated before, she would have your food in the microwave, and then she would have it exactly on the time that it
Yep.
needed. I was like, wow, I'll put the food in the microwave, but I've never put it on exactly the minutes that are needed. So I did, and I was feeling all good about it. And then he was like, I don't want any leftovers. So yeah,
Like me with the flowers. See?
I took him out, and that's how Sade ended up eating the big piece of chicken. So you see, it all came full circle. It's Gun Boss's fault. The big piece of chicken was his, and Sade ended up getting it.
He should have ate it just because you did that.
He should have. But I like that. Thank you for that tip. I put it in the microwave, and I put it. All he has to do is press start, and then it's already on the minutes. I like that. I like doing nice things for my honey bunny. So you guys, we will be back on Friday. I'm going to go eat a late dinner with my husband. Mo is probably going to go to sleep, and and we will see you guys right back here Friday at 10. Friday at 10 for the Never Ever Mets. Now be ready for conversation, and we'll get into it. And then of course we're gonna do something special for Memorial Day weekend. So love you all, and we will see you guys on Friday at 10 p.m.
Yes.
How's the XO? How do you do the XO? Yeah.
There you go.
All right. All right. Love you guys. See you on Friday at 10. All right. Have a good week.
All right.
Bye.